Hello everybody. My group is composed by Luis Moreno Navarro, Jesus Hernandez Pestana, and I, Julio Cesar Perez Archila. Today we are going to talk about narrative paragraph. What is a narrative paragraph? A narrative paragraph tells a story or relates an event. Narratives have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Anytime you go to a movie or read a fiction book, you are enjoying a narrative. A narrative paragraph can be fun to write because you often describe an event from your life. Almost everyone narrates, reads, or listens to stories from books, other people, or media. However, the audience expects and needs more from a written narrative. Therefore, a narrative paragraph must have a central idea, what the story or event is about, characters, who it about, a plot, conflict, copulation, climax, and resolution of the story or event, adequate description and setting when and where the story happened. Descriptive language. When writing a narration, it's a good idea to include descriptive language to help readers get a feeling for what happened. Here are some suggestions on how to make your writing more descriptive. Use adjectives to modify nouns. Nothing is more boring than a sentence such as "We went to the store." It's easy to modify a store to be more precise as well as descriptive. "We went to a big box electronics store" is much more interesting. Linking language. Starting sentences with a time expression. Start sentences with linking phrases such as "then," "next," "finally," "before that," etc. to connect sentences and show time relationships in your narrative writing. Characteristics. A narrative paragraph tells a story, gives background information in the opening sentences or sentence, has a clear beginning, a middle, and an end, entertains and informs, uses descriptive words to paint a picture so realistic that the reader can almost feel the experience of the witnessing the event live.
A narrative paragraph has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it also needs a topic sentence. What is the topic sentence? Well, the topic sentence is the first sentence in the paragraph, but is not the beginning of the story. It's at the beginning, but is not the beginning. Yeah, because the topic sentence is like a short introduction about it. Yeah, in which you can find background information about the story, in which the main character is going to be introduced. Well, we can compare as a short introduction. So that's it, the topic sentence. Also is the idea of the paragraph. The beginning. As I told you before, the topic sentence is not the beginning of the story. It's at the beginning, but it's not usually the beginning. The main action begins after the topic sentence. Not all narratives contain action. They may be about a problem or a conflict. Even though the beginning and the topic sentence are not the same, they are connected because the beginning of the story, in the beginning of the story, you are going to find the introduce of the characters. The character is going to be presented in a net, the place, and everything about the story starts. Yeah, so that's all about the beginning, the middle. After the beginning, you will find the middle part of the story. In this part is where the main action or problem occurs. This part is really important because in this part is where the main event is going to happen. So you have to be careful with this part of this paragraph. In this part is where the characters and all the event is going to happen. I mean, this part contains all the important things about the story. Yeah, so it's really important this part of the paragraph. In the end, well, in this part you're gonna to find the conclusion of the paragraph. This gives the final action or result. If there is a problem or conflict in the story, the solution is presented here. Everything is going to finish. So, if there is a problem or something related, everything is gonna end here. So, it is going to be the solution. Maybe the solution is good, maybe the solution is bad. So, this is the end of everything. This is the end of the story in which everything is gonna be concluded. Oh, in this example, you can notice the different parts. So, as you can see in the example, there is the topic sentence, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So you look at this. The topic sentence is the background of the story. So in this part, as you notice, you can find what is happening, what is going to happen. You can guess what is going to happen in the story, and you can find the main character. So the beginning. The beginning is when, as I told you before, is where everything begins. So you can notice there is the beginning where it's telling you about how everything begins. So there is the middle where when the main event the main event happens. You notice you can see it at the sample and the end of the story. This is all about the structure of this paragraph.
Now, things to take into account for a narrative paragraph. First, working with ideas for a narrative paragraph. We can find stories from our own memories and experience. Many times, the best narrative stories are about real events that actually happen to someone or to us. There is an expression in English that the truth is stranger than fiction, which means that it's sometimes more difficult to invent a story than to tell about something that actually happened. Nuts. Using descriptive language to help readers see the story. In narrative writing, we want the readers to be able to imagine that they are actually in the story with us. In order to accomplish this goal, we need to describe the story and the experience as careful as possible. And so we must use a specific vocabulary to help readers to imagine what they are actually there with us in their story. The goal is to make the readers understand what this event is so special or significant for us. And there is some vocabulary appearing here to you to see, to understand better, and to take into account this vocabulary. Next, describing a moment. Now, we think about a moment in our lives where something was interesting or unusual to happen. So we look for a photograph to think about ideas. So write some details about the moment, including the place, what happened, and our feelings, how we feel that day. Next, grammar for writing. When writers tell a story, they usually use the simple past tense and perhaps the past progressive tense. We need to be careful with the verse tense consistent or the same. For example, if the story begins with the simple past tense, we don't suddenly switch to simple present and then go back to simple past tense. A narrative paragraph tells events in chronological order, so it is important to link event from one event to another. And a writer need to be to use transitional words. The common transitional words or expression used in a narrative paragraph are after, finally, soon, as, soon as, later, then, before, meanwhile, upon, during, next, when, first, now, and while. There you got some examples and a better explanation or to see um, to have an idea of how this works. And finally, original writing practice. When we write a narrative paragraph about an experience that had happened, we need to follow some guidelines. So there are a couple. There are some difference. So the first, choose a topic such as the first time driving a car, um, your graduation day, or a special event in your life. Next, brainstorming to the events in your story. Another, writing a topic sentence with controlling ideas. Another one, give enough background information to help the readers understand the setting. Another one, write supporting sentence for the middle of your narrative. Or check your consistent in simple past and past progressive. Another one is to use describe vocabulary words, write the end of the story. And the last one is use at least two of the vocabulary words or phrases present to be more specific. So that's all. Thank you.